How's it going, viewers? I just wanted to do a real quick overview on my experience with the ICS Hi Capa Challenger. I just dropped it. But I just want to do a real quick overview about this, mainly to put some knowledge out there for people that might be interested in this and are looking to customize it and have seen other videos where they tell you that this is possible or this is not possible or whatnot. So I'm going to try to keep this real short, but I do want to put that information out there for anyone who might need it. So I took it upon myself, obviously, to purchase the gun and do the upgrades that I wanted to see done and know whether or not the information that I was given when I started looking into it was correct or not. So now you'll know in case it's something that you're interested in doing yourself. If you want a Hi Capa but you don't want a TM, or you want to check out something different than a TM. So overall, I do really like the pistol. I will say, as you can see, obviously the entire slide assembly is different, and that includes everything. So like the blowback unit is different in this one, the nozzle is different. I did keep the inner barrel and the hop unit because I actually do really like that. It does simulate a M4 or V2 barrel, which is really nice. It has the top down center type pressure as opposed to the open unbridged barrels that are usually seen in pistol and BSR 10 builds. So I'm gonna be honest, I'm not entirely sure whether or not that actually helps with consistency at range. And the reason I say that is because this, for me, is not an outdoor build. I will not at any point be running this at any kind of outdoor games. This is entirely an indoor build, and at the indoors, you're usually not going to be shooting more than 20-30 feet away. But with the barrel and hop setup that comes in the ICS Challenger, you're pretty accurate at that distance. When I did a shooting test with that, I think I had all my shots within a good like 4 to 5 inch circle. So yes, it's actually pretty accurate. The BBs fly pretty straight, and it's very good for indoor. If you watch any of the other videos on my channel, specifically the gameplay videos, I posted one about 2 weeks ago titled something along the lines of Last Indoor at PBX Airsoft, something like that. But that entire video consisted of me using nothing but this Kappa, if I remember correctly. But that was my first time ever actually using this in a game, so I did my best to only run this throughout the day. And I'll be honest, I absolutely love it. It's a great pistol. It's very accurate. I was running it at like 1 joule and people still said it hurts. I was using 3 O's, so I'm not sure if that has something to do with it, but people were saying that it did hurt, and I felt kind of bad, but at the same time I was like, well, I run it at 1 joule, so you know, I don't really know what I can tell you to try to make you feel better. It shouldn't hurt that much. But I do run it on the HPA tap, as you can see here. I'm running a primary airsoft HPA tap on a 45, on a big 45,000 PSI tank. And I'm just gonna shoot it real quick for you guys so you can see how snappy it is. So I actually really love it. It's super snappy. It performs fantastically in my opinion. I will say this is only the second Kappa I've ever used, and none of the ones that I've ever used were like professionally done, if you would. You know, it was just a couple guys that sort of understand how it works and put stuff together. But realistically, from my experience, teching isn't all that difficult. So I didn't actually do most of this myself, and so I'm gonna break it down here real quick just to give you a look at some of the internals that it has. So advanced frame, you can see the rail is full here. If I was to drop the grip and pull this apart, it would have the advanced frame, like this whole section would come out. If you've ever done anything with the advanced frame, you know what I'm talking about. But this does have advanced frame systems in it. So if you're looking at buying one of these and you want to replace the internals, keep in mind that you will have to buy the special advanced frame sear specifically for this. This will not take standard TM sears specifically. Everything else is the same. So your firing pin, your disconnector, your valve knocker, all that stuff is the same. The only things that are different, like I said, are going to be the sear and the spring that keeps the valve knocker in place. That's a little bit different as well. So you can't just interchange those two pieces specifically. Now, another thing that a lot of videos have said is that this piece right here, the original one that came on it is a black one. I don't have it on here anymore, obviously, as you can see, but a lot of other YouTubers were saying that this can't be replaced with aftermarket parts. So I'm going to show you here as best as I can. It's in, it is a used one, so it is kind of beat up. It doesn't have anything to do with me installing it. It's just, like I said, happens to be an older one that a friend had lying around that he ended up putting on here. But these will fit. The thing is, they don't fit without modification. And what I mean by that is, if I was to pop this out, and I don't want to do that just because I don't want to have the spring flying all over the place, the spring that's in here. I don't want that all over the place. But if I was to pop this off, there'd be a little lip under it right here. In this section, there's a little lip. And you have to shave that down or grind it down or something. Just reduce the length of it a little bit, and you'll be able to pop this on, no problem. It's not that hard of a modification. It doesn't take a genius to do it. If you have some sandpaper, you have everything you need to put one of these on here. So backstrap safeties, this is not the one that came on it. The one that came on it was black and glossy like the safeties here. I didn't like it. I think it looks a lot nicer with this silver one. But the backstrap safety is TM compatible, so you can swap that out with any TM compatible parts out there. The hammer is also not the stock one. I swapped that out. Both of these parts are Airsoft Masterpiece, by the way. The hammer is TM compatible, so any hammer on the market you should be able to fit in there just fine. As you can see with this one, works no problem. The grip screws, I mean, they're screws, you know, just buy some and throw them on there. The safeties can be swapped out. These are TM compatible, so any TM safeties will fit on here. And then the same goes for the takedown pin. Again, this is an Airsoft Masterpiece takedown pin. This is not the stock one that came on here. And the mag release. I am planning to swap out the mag release and the safeties at some point. I just don't have the money for it right now, but it is on my to-do list. I actually really like the way it looks with the silver accents, especially, and the colors on this are wrong actually. So funny story, when I gave this to my friend for him to do it, I sent him a picture of one of my guns that was gray with blue accents, and I told him this is what I want, specifically gray with blue accents, and he somehow misunderstood what I was getting at, and he ended up swapping the colors on me, so now it's blue with gray accents, which I'm okay with. I don't mind, but I would have preferred it the other way around, just because I feel like the slide with the silver pieces here would have just looked a little bit more clean. But you know, it is what it is. I'm dealing with it. It's still a nice build. It still works wonderfully. So other things that you'll learn from other YouTube videos is this screw right here can be raised to keep your barrel in place, and I'll show you what I mean by that here in a little bit as soon as I take this apart. But this right here, if that screw wasn't in place, it would have quite a bit of up and down wobble. It does have some lateral movement. There's nothing you can really do about that one, but so you can see there it's got some lateral movement, but the up and down wobble is pretty much gone. And that's what this screw is for right here. You raise it a little bit and it'll put pressure right here where you can see the paint came off of the hop. It'll put some pressure right there to sort of immobilize it and keep it straighter so that your ABs are more accurate, which again, I use that function. It is a little bit raised. It's a really small screw, so you don't need to raise it a whole lot to get the effect that you want, but it's a very useful part in there, which I actually really like, because again, it stabilizes your barrel, which means you get more accurate shots. Now, if you're not buying something like this, if you're building something from scratch, I will say that LA Kappa Customs has a frame that they're coming out with that has this as well, but it's something that's coming down the pipeline. Other things that I've swapped on here, so the detent or the plunger, I don't know, different people call it different things. It's the parts right here that hold the safety in place. You can see the little pin right there, this little pin right here. That's the detent plunger kit thing. The ones that come on it, the spring is really weak, so when I was playing, I would run into the problem where I would accidentally flip the safeties up, and I almost ended up getting taken out of the match because of that. So I put a slightly stronger one on there, and I know you can't feel it, but it takes a little more effort now to raise the safeties than it did before. So definitely swap that out if you pick up one of these. It'll help you a lot in gameplay in that you won't have to worry about your safety accidentally flipping up while you're trying to shoot someone in the back because you got the flank on them. Now, so that's pretty much it for the grip bit. I did swap out the trigger, but that's, I mean, it's a trigger. It's a very, very basic part. It doesn't really take a lot to know how to get it to work. You just pop it in there and it should work. So nothing big there. I'm not sure what kind of barrel this is. Again, this is one of the parts that my friend picked up for it. I ended up picking up a thread adapter at one point so I can run a tracer on it. And if you're like me and you want to try to color match your stuff as best as possible, there's this Novisky KX3 and KX5 Spitfire flash hiders that also happen to have tracer units in them. This is an Ace Tech tracer, so you know it's a pretty good quality tracer. And these come in blue, red, gold, black, silver, tan, and green. I may be missing a color, but I know for sure they come in those colors, if nothing else. So you can definitely pick one up if you have like a red Kappa or a gold Kappa. You know, pick one of these up. They look super cool. The KX3 is more matte than the KX5, so if you want like a super shiny reflective tracer, get the KX5. If you want a more subdued matte look, get the KX3. That's just a side note. But tracer unit. And then so the slide, my friend picked up this Slimcat Speed Cat, I believe is what it is. Slimcat Speed Cat. He picked up one of these, picked up the Tornado Guide. He short stroked it, 4.3 plug, nothing too special there. Edge blowback unit, I believe he said, or maybe it was an AIP. Again, I didn't do this build, so I don't know for sure what's in it. I know what's in it as far as the parts that I've changed, so I put a 120% blowback spring in there, just because the one that it had in there originally, the OEM one, wasn't strong enough to pull the nozzle back sometimes, so I would skip shots. But the 120 is working pretty fine right now. I am going to pick up some 140s at some point. If this 120 fails me, I'll throw one in here. But the 140s are more for the 4.3 build that I'm working on, because that's going to be a freaking monster build. At least that's what I'm hoping for. But pretty basic. I believe he said this was also an AIP nozzle with the AIP internals, nothing too crazy there. So the slide's pretty basic. This does fit any kind of TM compatible hops. So I have here the Maple Leaf hop with a Crazy Jet barrel, and the Airsoft Masterpiece brass hop with a what was this, a Lilacs 9-ball barrel. So I'm not going to put it all together in one piece just because I really don't want to deal with having to take it apart afterwards. Yeah. And I've also put this one in here before, and they both fit no problem. So yes, you can pick up any aftermarket hop, and it will work with an aftermarket hop and barrel if you choose to remove the ICS Master Mods hop and barrel setup. Like I said, so far it's been working pretty great. I've had no problems with it. It's been pretty accurate. If you don't believe me, watch that video that I told you about the indoor play at PBX, and you'll see how I was rolling through people like there was no tomorrow. It's also really consistent. When I chronoed it, the highest was 270 something, 277 FPS, and the lowest was like 274. So you go in the middle, it's a plus or minus 1.5 FPS deviation. And I'll put a video of me actually chronoing somewhere in here so you can see that I'm not just blowing smoke out of my ass. I'll test with the Challenger ICS pistol, 3 zeros with the chrono tap. But I will say this is the mag that came with it. I did do the conversion obviously to the HPA, but I also swapped out the rubber here. This is the Lilacs rubber You can get them on LA Kappa Customs. I know Mir Tactical also sells them, and I believe Evic has them in stock as well. I also swapped out the valve on the back. This is the high flow Lalax valve. I'm not using the original ones. I don't know too much about GBB just because this is my first GBB build, but they were saying that because this allows more air through, it essentially gives you more consistency. So I put that in there, and then inside here, if you've ever done one of these, there's an O-ring that goes around the base of this. I swapped that out actually for a O-ring from a piston head, so it was a little bit thicker. It did take me a ton of time to get it in there. I swear it must have taken me like 30 minutes to get this all put together once I put that thicker O-ring on there. But again, a thicker O-ring is going to give you a better seal, and it's going to hopefully give you better consistency, and it's going to last longer because it's a little more robust. You know, it's got a little more material. I hope this helps somebody that was looking at picking up an ICS Hi Capa and had some questions, or maybe didn't get the answer they were looking for as far as compatibility of parts from other people that have reviewed the guns, because there's a ton of people on YouTube that have reviewed them. You know, the likes of Airsoft Tech, I believe is his name. Waldo Customs, I believe, also did a review of it. So there's a lot of really big names out there that have done reviews of this gun, and the compatibility seems to be one of those things that they kind of hit on a lot for the Kappa, for the ICS Challenger. And I just wanted to put it out there that these are pretty much as customizable as a standard Hi Capa, you know, as a TM Kappa. With you know, I've been told that the frame can't be replaced if you want to keep the grips, and the grips can't be replaced if you want to keep the frame. But if you're gonna do something like replacing the frame or replacing the grip, then why even buy this? Like, just do a ground up build and call it a day. You know, if you want a base that is great to work on, it has the advanced frame, you know, which if you buy a standard TM Hi Capa, the advanced frame is like $200, whereas this one, you know, you get the advanced frame, you get the top down center hop unit, the top down center style hop unit, and you get a tight bore barrel with it already. You get this really useful screw here that, like I said, immobilizes your barrel and hop in a up and down direction, so it makes your shots a little more stable, a little more accurate. And you get that all for, I believe this retails for about 210, or at least that's what Mir had it for sale at. I'm not sure about other places, I haven't checked. It's Airsoft Atlanta, I believe, had them for 180 bucks or something like that. I don't know if they still do, but they did at one point have them for like 180 bucks. So if you're buying it online, I would recommend checking out Airsoft Atlanta. Otherwise, you know, just pick it up wherever. Full TM compatibility for the internals, and this piece right here, which is one of the things that a lot of people had a gripe with, was that they couldn't fit the aftermarket ones. But obviously I just debunked that on account of mine has an aftermarket one, and this is, again, the ICS Challenger. So feel free to ask any questions if you have any questions in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. If you were discouraged from watching other ICS Challenger videos, that this gave you a little bit of hope that you can buy the ICS Challenger and get it to be what you want it to be, because it is possible. All it takes is a little bit of work, a little bit of creativity, and the desire to put in the work to do what you have to do to get it where you want it to be. So again, hope this helps, and good luck on your builds. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments if you have any.